This pandemic has changed the world. Margaret W. Wong and Associates, with over 40 years experience in U.S. immigration law, keeps working for you in the midst of adversity. Offices are in Cleveland, New York, Memphis, Atlanta, Columbus, Raleigh, North Carolina, Nashville, Chicago, and Minneapolis. Look after your loved ones and we'll take care of your immigration needs. Please call us at 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984.
Hello, everybody. My name is Juan Carlos Brando. Thank you for joining us today. It's such a pleasure to have every one of you joining us to ask any questions that you have in the immigration field. And we know that we have had a lot of announcements in the last few days, and also this new government has been planning a lot of things, but still is a lot of decisions involved. Some people want to help, some people don't want to help. But let's see what we can do in this new period of the presidency with President Biden. And also a lot of people asking questions about if they can come or not to the United States. But we have Ms. Wong, who has been working in this field of the immigration for over 40 years, and she will answer our questions live, and they are free. So you can feel free to write it down, and we will read your question live, and the answer is going to be free. Ms. Wong, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for having us. And well, what can you tell us today about the immigration changes that are coming?
Every day there are always new changes. So, for example, Biden already revoked one of Trump's proclamations. So anybody who is a family for a sibling, a spouse, a son and daughter, parents of citizen, instead of waiting till the end of March to schedule interviews in the American embassies in the world, now they can start scheduling now. So that's good. That's apply for green card. The other part where H visas, L visas, E2 visas, all those non-immigrant visas, that Trump thing is still there. So for example, you are a Japanese company, you want to come to America, or a Canadian company, you want to send your E2 workers in America. Those cases on H's and L's and E's, non-immigrant, you still cannot do it, all right? Now, Canadian also borders are closed. So that's another story. So there are two parts to all these coming and goings. One part is because of the virus. It's not a homeland security issue. It's not an immigration issue. It's more a virus issue. So for example, China or Koreans to go there or to come in, you have to quarantine for 14 days. In fact, we have a lawyer from Nashville, flew to New York a Monday morning to go to an interview, and that's what we do. We fly around the country doing interviews. He couldn't go in. He was so angry, because it was a last minute thing. Our client insists he and he alone could represent her. He was in immigration and they won't let him go in because he didn't shelter. And he's very honest. When the officers asked him, did you fly in? Did you drive? And he said, I flew. So I guess if you fly, you could go in. So these are weird things that's happening. But so far, things are doing very well. Another thing I want to alert our listeners and our audience is please don't chase headlines. Right now, you see in The Guardian, in all these liberal press saying that, President Biden is starting deportations. President Biden is continuing the unseparating of families for young children. President Biden is stopping to deport people, the moratorium for 100 days. The federal jails now need money because under Trump, at least, there's a lot of immigrants because right now all the federal judges are reducing the sentencing, but so the jails that's built in the past 10, 15 years in the height of our jailing people, what happened now? So we jail all the immigrants. So now, President Biden is releasing all these people. But my advice to us, and don't give President Biden a way out. Don't give the people we elected a way out, and especially don't give the media a way out by arguing, oh, the progressive want this, the conservative want this. This is America. This is the best country in the world. And we are very fair. We are very just. So we need that immigration reform, even piecemeal, to be passed. All right. So Ohio now we have some openings for federal judges, some openings for U.S. attorneys. So we are trying to get more people involved, diversity, stuff like that. So that's important. This is what's happening in the immigration world now.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And yeah, we know that a lot of people are wondering about what's going on in the immigration field, but the good thing is that we have you, that you can give us your advice about the immigration law. And please feel free to ask your questions. Also, you can call for more information, 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984 is the phone number of Ms. Wong's office. And she has offices in Atlanta, in Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Nashville, Memphis, Minneapolis, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the phone number is the same, 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. So, Ms. Wong, I have a very interesting question here. And this gentleman says, my wife suffered violation. She was raped about 5 years ago by a family member. Now he was released from jail, and now he's threatening her again. She's in Mexico at the moment. My question is if she could go to the line and present herself in front of the immigration, the Custom and Border Protection, and ask for a parole in, and then maybe apply for asylum here.
Yes, that's a very good question. That plays right in about what Trump is doing, what Bush was doing, what Biden is doing. There are few issues. You could only apply for asylum because of race, nationality, member of a special group, religion. In this case, you could make yourself a member of the Mexican female community that's threatened by family. That group is not recognized as a settled group. It's not like an indigenous group. It's more recognized. But definitely you could do it. Let me tell you the problem. The whole thing is, it doesn't mean it has to be by inability of the Mexican government or your home country government to secure safety for their citizens. How do we prove that? The person did go to jail for 5 years and now is let out. So we need to prove he continues to threat. We need to prove that you went again to the police. And then what happened to the police? Maybe the police would bring him back to jail. Then you're entitled to your protection. That's number one thing, is what have we done to alert the law enforcement, and why couldn't they protect us? That's one thing to prove on asylum. The other thing to prove on asylum, not only the inability of the country to support you, because all the countries are so difficult. Just this morning, Germany started monitoring their major opposition party. So all the countries are going nuts lately nowadays. So the second question in your case, more than the inability of a government, is could it be that person is related to a powerful political family? Like in China, they talk about anti-graft, anti-corruption, that he was paying off the people or off the guards to let him out of jail early, to do crazy stuff, and they keep one eye open, one eye closed. And how do we prove that? So these are all issues. Random violence is not entitled to support in America immigration law and the asylum. extreme poverty. So for example, we have clients who own land, they work 2 years, they own, actually that's a real case. 30 years ago, the son of the family already bought a piece of land for the parents. So the parents are very happy living on the farm with all those cows, and whenever they need money, and then the brother would go back and help the family, and then people would threaten the parents because they know the son is working in America with a hard-earned money. So these are cases where could the parents come to America to get asylum because gangs were threatening the parents and stealing the cows 5 at a time? Because, for farmers like that, cows are very important. It's a livelihood. So can the family? So we get these kinds of questions all the time. Another issue is firm resettlement. So, for example, Mexico is a big country. China is a big country. Hong Kong is not that big. But instead of living in Tsim Sha Tsui, how come you couldn't live in Kowloon, right? So, called firm resettlement. Lebanon is a big country. Syria. So instead of like Nigeria, the 200 girls that were kidnapped because they're Catholic, there's a northern Nigeria. Southern Nigeria is not that dangerous. So the judge would ask, why didn't you or couldn't you and your family and everybody that's heard go to southern Nigeria instead of northern? Same with Indonesia, because of the whole fundamentalist Muslim versus moderate Muslim. Indonesia is one of the biggest, I shouldn't say biggest, one of the bigger Muslim country in the world. And there's a lot of problems also. So for the Christians, right? So that's you would think it's perfect. So, but on the other hand, though, the Chinese and Indonesian, so I can give you stories of how each country have their problems with safety, with security, with rape. India, I mean, now they even have buses that's only for women now, or trains only for women because people were just groping. I still remember when I was young in Hong Kong, I mean, people would grope me and I'm like, what's going on here? We don't know. I mean, we're so used to all this stuff, it's only because now with the Google and stuff. But that's my short answer to your question. I feel very bad for your wife, but make sure she reports to police. Make sure she protects herself, and it doesn't hurt to go to the line. But my question is, she may or may not be stuck in a jail for a few months, or if she's in the cold at the border. So who knows what's happening at the border?
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, and that's very true. We don't know how long they are taking, and now with the end of the program, Stay in Mexico, with this thing of the third country, they are ending it, but it's taking a while for letting all people in. So the next question, Ms. Wong, is I am from Colombia, and I have been here for 5 months. I came with a tourist visa. My brother-in-law, he wants me to stay here and help him with his company. I am a police officer, non-active in Colombia, and I have a specialization in administration and human resources. So he would like to know if he could apply for something for me, because someone suggested a student visa, but I'm not sure that we want to do that one.
Okay.
And he's here for 6 months.
That's a very good question. Anytime you came on a legal, valid tourist visa, that means your family is not poor, because poor people doesn't get tourist visa. Only the upper middle class get tourist, number one. So you're upper middle class, or at least on the higher echelons of middle class, number one. Number two is you're allowed 6 months stay, and you're very lucky because lately there's a lot of Latino people, even on a legal tourist visa, they were turned back at the airport, but you were not. You were here for 5 months. Number one, definitely do a 539. Do another extension. They'll give you 6 months to think about issues. Number two, H-1B season is starting on February 2nd. Actually, February 9th. Yes, you can register the company, and then you can file the lottery. It's very easy. If you have at least a bachelor's degree, associate is not enough. A 5-year, because some countries have 5-year degree equivalent to a 4-year bachelor. Some countries have 3-year degree equivalent to our 4-year bachelor's. As long as you have a minimum of a bachelor, you could apply for the lottery for the H-1B. Mexicans, they qualify for TN visa, but because you're not from Mexico, you qualify for H-1B. So start now. So parallel track. On the one hand, extend the tourist visa with a 539, another 6 months. So you came 5 months ago, now is the time to file. On the other hand, register the company with your brother's company, number one. Number two is to file for the lottery. If you don't get into the lottery, which you'll find out before March like 25th, because on April 1st, we filed the H-1B, all right? But in the meantime, you need that tourist visa. Otherwise, you're illegally in America. You cannot get H-1B if you're undocumented here. And that comes up with Biden's saying, as illegal alien is not good. You need to call us undocumented non-citizens now, but that's okay. So this is the non-immigrant visa on the H-1B. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is leave the country now, come back after maybe 4 months, 5 months. So you don't need to do an extension because you don't want to stay here illegally, because I presume you get a 5-year, 10-year multiple visa from home country. So once you overstay by 1 day, you cannot, you would not be able to extend, but if not extend, so you don't want to be undocumented now, all right? So on this side, your question is, aside from a student visa, how could I stay? You could stay on an H-1B if you have degree. You can probably stay on an H-3 if it's only a training program. We also need to know how big is the business, because H-1B is a specialty occupation, H-3 is a trainee program. Then if you're a police officer, I don't know if you have a degree. See, that's the problem with America, because America is not a free-for-all, especially now, because even American people cannot find jobs. So H-1B, we don't need to advertise. But another way to do it is to somehow stay in America with the H-3 or something, or tourist visa extension. But have your brother cannot do your perm for you. Perm is another way to get green card. Always think parallel track, left and right, yin and yang, male and female, heaven and hell. Always think like this. How could I stay in America legally with or without a working visa? How could I ever get a green card so I can help my brother? Or how could I get a working visa to help my brother? And the reason why your friend said it's a student visa is because after 1 year of academic year, not full year, academic year is only about 8 months because you have summer vacations. You could also apply for economic hardship work permit. On the other hand, though, it's really up to the DSO, the foreign student advisor, to give that to you. So we are talking about employment-based immigration, and then the stay in America, which is non-immigrant. So non-immigrant versus immigrant, yin and yang, black and white, think like that. Non-immigrant F1 visa and OPT versus H-1B. Tourist visa versus H-1B, tourist visa versus F1, all right? But the most important thing, you only have 1 month left, so make sure you do an extension of your tourist visa. They'll give you time to do it. Now, I'm sure you asked me, because you're a policeman, because you're very good in administration, but you're also an inactive police officer. So for example, it's a real case. I'm a very, very high level police officer, security officer, from a country that's really going through hell. We won him asylum because he knows a lot of these dissidents, because he's security. We also won another case. She's the head, and she's just awesome. I just look at that woman, I'm awed by her. She's from a Middle Eastern country. She's just so smart. She's like the minister of whatever she is. We also won that case because these are high-level ministry that if they don't escape, I mean, you have heard stories of different countries killing even an American citizen, or killing their people on American soil or in their embassy in foreign countries. So these are that type of people. But if you can prove you are that type of people, then you may want to process asylum. But as I said earlier, Trump already in August said no more work permit unless you enter legally, which you did after August, and you have to wait for more than a year to file for that work permit. So there's another two organ, CASA and ASAP, that if you join them, you can get an earlier one. So these are all ways to stay. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And don't forget that you can call Ms. Wong and have more information calling 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984 is the phone number. She has offices in Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Cleveland, Memphis, Minneapolis, Nashville, New York, and Raleigh, North Carolina. And the website is imwong.com. That's the website. You can find information there, and she will be happy to answer each one of them. We have another question here. If you have a status and the term expires, but you are waiting for approval, does your waiting time for approval still deemed as you in legal status?
That's a very good question. Your question probably is you came as a tourist visa, you filed an extension with a tourist visa, but in the meantime, it's not approved yet, and your 6 months expired. Yes, you have B2 visa pending, but I strongly advise you because now, because of the virus, everybody is filing the B2 extension. So if I were you, I would go ahead and file another 539 B2 extension after 5 months, because even if they approve, they only give you that 6 months after your 6 months, because total 12. So by the 11th month, if you don't get it, you need to file another one, even though the first one is not approved. This are sort of changed from years ago. Years ago, you do one, and if it's approved afterwards, even though they go back in time and give you only the 6 months, then at least we can say we couldn't leave because you only gave me the approval after my 6 months. But now they don't buy that argument. So keep filing the extension. This question also could apply if you have an H-1B. So for example, I have a 3-year H-1B. I filed my H-1B 10 days before it expired. It takes about 2.5 months to 5 months to get H-1B approved. So could I work in the meantime? Yes, you have free 270 days to work, but the issue is if you work and the H-1B is denied, your undocumented and illegal stay, unlawful stay starts from the day your H-1B expires. So it's not that complicated. So make sure you keep doing that extension. If it's an H, you're allowed to work pending the adjudication of the H. If it's a tourist visa, every 5 months do that extension. So it depends on what visa you're talking about that's expiring.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And by the way, we are in the month of in the Women's Month, the month of March. I don't know if you are aware of that. March the 8th is the International Women's Day. So congratulations, Ms. Wong. You are one of those empowered women in the world, those ones that have demonstrated that you can do way more than even many men can do. So congratulations, and thank you for your heart, for having everybody who works for you, for having a good heart to help people, which is very, very important. So we have more questions here. This next question is the same person actually, but he says, I have a cousin that is in Colombia. He works for my company in Colombia, but my company is established here, but we have another office in Colombia. He wants to come to the United States, but we don't know if he should come on a tourist visa, or if he should maybe apply for an extraordinary talented or work visa, because he has 2 careers, he has a PhD, he has a lot of experience. So what do you recommend for him? He's in Colombia.
Good. So you are maybe talking about L visa. L visa is an intra-company transfer. So for example, I have a company in Colombia, and we gross like maybe 300,000 US dollars. That may be low, maybe $500,000 US dollars. He works for us as a chief executive. And we also build 100% owned business in America that I want to transfer him or her from Colombia to America. That's an L1A. Okay. On the other hand, she knows maybe the formula to build my software. She's the only one in the company who knows. That's an L1B case. but then you have to start filing tax return once you work in America and stuff. That's an L1 case. Another way to do it, if that business is investing money in America and you register that business in home country like Argentina, I think that's an E2. I don't remember if Colombia have it, but if you just Google, Colombia could be an E2 country. It doesn't list, actually. It's very fast. It takes you 1 second to find out. If there's an E2 visa and you're spending more than maybe 150,000 US in America to invest in an American business, either to buy the business or to own the business or to build a kitchen to do a mass, food production, then you can do an e-visa. So there's different ways to go. O visa is more for singers, scientists, and like this person, he's a PhD. It depends on what your company does. If your company wants to work with him, O visa is more like extraordinary. That means songwriters, musicians, artists, or researchers that work with like all the clinics and all the medical, like sleep and stuff like that. So it depends on what kind of job, what kind of resume, what kind of salary. It depends on what kind of visa. But this is a very good case.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And the phone number, don't forget, is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. The next question is very interesting, Ms. Wong. This gentleman has been LPR for 12 years. He has not become a U.S. citizen because he has 2 DUIs. And he would like to know how this could affect his case in regards of getting his citizenship. The last DUI was 17 years ago. He did everything he had to do. He did the probation. He never did it again. And now he wants to apply for his wife, but he doesn't know if he needs to become a citizen first and then apply for her, or if he can do it simultaneously.
So 2 questions. Number 1, as a green card holder, can I apply for my wife? The answer is if my wife is here on a tourist visa or H-1B or OPT legally, family 2A immediately can do an adjustment of status for the wife. That's exactly what Biden wants to propose, because under Trump, under Bush, under Obama, wives of green card holders have to wait for 4.5 years. Now, Biden is trying to push it to say that wives of green card holders and wives of citizens should be the same, so they can give out more quota, because every year there's only about 1 million legal immigrants. So if we could get the quota to clean out the wives of green card holders, because for whatever reason, a lot of people doesn't want to be American citizens, more because they cannot inherit land back home, inherit property. The children, stayed back home, so they couldn't. So there are various reasons. Number 1, yes, you can sponsor your wife as long as she's in status. But she's not in status, absolutely sponsor her anyway, because then you have to wait for the I-130 to be approved, and depends on her status. Is that 245I? When did you marry her? How did you get your green card? First thing. Second question is, I have 2 DUI, the last of which is 17 years ago. Can I become a citizen? Absolutely do it. Under Trump, they'll give you a lot of hard time, but even then, it's more, as long as it's more than 5 years, you're okay. Just don't have more than 2. All right, that's enough. For that reason, really hurry up, because the last thing you want to have is 3, and that's a problem, because under Trump, they would have detained. I would do it now, become a citizen, but don't wait for citizen to sponsor your wife.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. So we are in the end of this show today. Very interesting questions, Ms. Wong. And well, there is something important about the EU visas, about the VAWA, and especially in this month of the International Women's Day. There is something interesting in this country about the VAWA, which is kind of process that a person can do if they suffer violence in the family. So can you tell us a little bit about VAWA, and then maybe if you have a message for the women?
Yes. Wawa is a case that started really very much with Obama. Actually, it really started under Clinton, but it became a very hot topic under Obama. It says that any time, be it a male or female, was victimized of domestic violence, it has to be domestic, all right? Number one. Number two is the spouse has to be a spouse. It couldn't be just a live-in partner. Because in America, we have no more common law. So even though you represent yourself as husband and wife, it has to be in marriage. There was a big law that just came out that a lot of women actually is upset. But it has to be a marital case. It has to be either a green card or citizen. So for example, I'm married to a Mexican national, like the case that we just talked about. And I was abused by him a lot, but because he's not a green card or citizen, you can still do abuse case, but it's a 10-year extraordinary circumstances. It cannot be 3 years. The good news about Wawa is that I need to be only in America in 3 years to invoke that case. But more than that, even though you may not be in court, you can do a 360 to prove there's abuse. So that's the Wawa case. U visa is, for example, same thing, but it could be my mother-in-law hit me. It could be my boyfriend hit me. That you don't need to be married. And the nationality of that person could be anything. So it could be undocumented, could be documented, it's no problem. So that's a U visa. U visa right now, under President Biden, they're talking about increasing the numbers from 4,000 to 10,000 to 30,000. So if that happened, U visa could go a lot faster. Right now it's running about 5 years and they're getting tougher and tougher. So hopefully this law will change. And congratulations. And let me give you a little tip of the day, a gossip. Mr. Juan is not feeling well, but heroically, he say he'll want to do this program because he may have surgery Monday. He's just not feeling well. So I don't know if you follow us. If you follow us, you can tell that he's just, I feel so sorry. So let's pray for him. And I hope he'll take some time off this afternoon because he's someone who gets up at 5:30 and goes to work. His drives. I can call him at any hour he'll pick up. Actually, I just talked to him last night at 10 o'clock and I didn't know he was sick. He sounded not good, but I thought he was just sleeping. So Mr. Juan, I hope you feel better. Take some time off and don't worry about us. We'll be here. Okay?
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. I will be fine. I'll be fine. Thank you so much. Have a good afternoon, Ms. Wong, and enjoy the weather. I think it's getting a little warm in Cleveland too. Here is a little warm as well. It's in 72 actually, and we have a good weather here in Atlanta. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, and congratulations for the International Women's Day.
Thank you, and keep safe.
Thank you so much. For everybody who is joining us, for our audience today, please feel free to call to our phone number. Is 216-279-3984. 216-279-3984 is the phone number of Ms. Wong. She has offices in 9 cities of the United States, and she will take care of your case with her over 40 years of experience. Thank you so much, and see you next time.
This pandemic has changed the world. Margaret W. Wong and Associates, with over 40 years experience in U.S. immigration law, keeps working for you in the midst of adversity. Offices are in Cleveland, New York, Memphis, Atlanta, Columbus, Raleigh, North Carolina, Nashville, Chicago, and Minneapolis. Look after your loved ones and we'll take care of your immigration needs. Please call us at 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984.